Excuse me, sorry. This be the stuff that grinds my gears. Y'all be so worried about looking at that big number in your bank account. Sometimes you overthink. So I'm a think for this man on marketwatch.com. His question is, my wife and I have $750,000 in savings and earn over $144,000 a year. Can we afford to spend $5,000 per month on housing? Let's read the article so you can get a little bit more information. Then I'm going to tell you what I would do. Okay. So I don't feel that we can or should afford to pay $45,000 of our take-home income towards housing when we have a baby on the way. Financial advisors recommend spending no more than 30% of take-home pay on housing, and I have always lived by this rule and now have $750,000 in cash savings. But now I need to make a big move. Is there ever exceptions to this to make good sense? My wife and I just found out that we are pregnant with our second child. We want to move closer to be with family for childcare support because our oldest is still 22 months old and can't be put in daycare for medical reasons. We are living in our single family house in a nice neighborhood in Los Angeles. We purchased the house for $758,000 in 2016, and we put down $200,000 and financed the remaining $568,000. Our monthly housing costs, including mortgage, tax, insurance, and utilities, total roughly $3,400 per month, and my wife and I both work full-time. Our combined monthly take-home income is $12,200. We want to move into a house that is closer to family. A relative has a house available, and it's very comparable to our current house, and she is offering the rent at $4,600. Factoring power and utilities, I estimate our new housing cost to be close to $5,000 per month. She said the $4,600 covers all her overhead. And this is going to be a big change in addition to our growing family and the increasing cost of childcare. I also worry about the inflation, which is driving up the cost of everyday goods and services. In short, I don't feel that we can or should afford to pay $45,000 of our take-home income towards housing when we have a baby on the way. Perhaps I can rent our current house to cover our current mortgage and tax, as well as some cash flow to help with new childcare costs when the baby is due this summer. However, dealing with a new baby coming and our young toddler who is not old enough for school will be a major undertaking. We will not have the energy or the motivation to deal with property management for the foreseeable future. I believe that I can sell my house for $1.4 million. I received a cash offer for $1.3 million, so I have the potential for more listing it on the market. Selling the house and using the proceeds to help cover the new $5,000 per month cost will help me for next several years and perhaps allow us to purchase again should a purchase opportunity come up in the next 3 to 4 years. Would our situation be an exception to the 30% rule? I feel that I'm going to stretch my family financially if we don't apply additional rental income or income from selling the house, as I don't think I can stomach the task of being a landlord. Best, finding it hard to give up the 30% rule. I'm not about to say what Market Watch responded. Basically, he was telling him you can afford it, right? But I wish I had $750. Baby, you can afford it, but I would tell you what I would do. Okay. So, on the low end, we can assume that out of that $568,000 that they've paid off at least $144,000 on the house. So if he took the cash option of $1.3 million, he's trying to get $100,000 extra. But if he took the $1.3 million offer and paid off the remaining $424,000 on the house, he would have $876,000 left. So he would automatically double his current savings. So his savings would then be $1,626,000. It sounds like he wants to stay renting for 3 to 4 years. So that is $240,000 towards rent and utilities. over the course of 4 years. And that would bring him down to $1,386,000. To ease his mind, what I would do is each year I would pay the $60K up front. So that means paying the entire year of rent up front and paying the utilities up front. So it is out of mind. I'm going, I don't know what the daycare expenses are out there. I know a lot of daycares, it's easily $2,000 for 2 kids. So I'm gonna make a median of $3,400 in food, childcare, and just essentials. Everybody needs clothes. Everybody in the household needs things. So if we say $3,400, over the course of 4 years, you could, if you stuck to that $3,400 for the remaining expenses, then you would eventually add $420,000 to savings in 4 years, and the savings would be around $1,806,000. And if they chose to purchase another home at $800,000 cash, they still would have added $256,000 to their current savings over 4 years. Now, listening to him, doesn't sound like he's about to do anything cash option. So, if you put $300,000 down, he'd still have $1.5 million after 4 years. He still would have doubled his savings. He's like, really, sometimes people are so big on penny pinching and sticking to the financial rules that they don't see the bigger picture, or like they're so stuck on following these rules that they don't think he's overthinking it completely. This right here, I would do that all day. I mean, when I get little taxes, I always try to pay up 6 months at least, because it frees up your money. You know what I'm saying? I've tried many years to do this. They always fuck me, motherfuckers. But it's cool. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. So yeah, that's the stuff I'll be looking like, bro, what? You stressing about what? Very easy, simple solution. And the reason I would sell the house is because it actually would, what if you can't get someone to rent? What if they don't pay? Then you're stuck paying mortgage and rent. And it actually does more financial damage. And yeah, having a newborn, you're not about to be no landlord for nobody. And at most, you would end up having to pay, say something happens, and you're not a plumber. You're not a plumber. Well, maybe he is a plumber. I don't know what his he didn't say what their occupations are, but you're actually going to end up spending more for the upkeep, because everything is, you're responsible for everything. You're not a landlord. You're not an electrician. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that you don't have the credentials to do. You're always going to have to pay out when you are renting to someone, because what are they supposed to get a plumber? You're a landlord and you have certain agreements. So I wouldn't suggest that. I would say sell it, unless you absolutely know that you want to come back to that house. If you, that would be my suggestion. Oh, and you know what? After looking at those numbers again, $240,000 for 4 years. They might as well try to find a house in the area and fucking put $200 down on that. And that actually may benefit them better than renting, because he could do the same thing that he did when he's ready to move back to wherever he came from. Because the reason that he's talking 4 years is because he's thinking about school and what school district he wants to put his child in. So it sounds like he might want to go back to LA once that child is school age, right? So he just lived in a house for 6 years after doing $200,000 down. in total, I said it was somewhere around 344,000 have been put out on that house, which isn't a bad thing because he actually could sell the house for 1.3 million. So he didn't lose any money by making that, right? So actually, it might be better for him to try and find another house to buy and put 200,000 on, because as I said, I'm sitting here looking at it over the course of 4 years renting, he would spend $240,000 just down the drain. So he could go and put a down payment of 240,000 on a house in the area he's trying to move to, and then do the same thing when he's ready to move back, sell it for however the market rate is. But it's a lot more beneficial because a house either is going to raise in value or depreciate, and it sounds like they take care of their things. And he raised the value of his current home, so there's no, it's safe to say that he'd be able to raise the value of the next. So that would also be another option, because renting, everybody knows renting is just money down the drain. You don't own anything after that. So, yeah.